we're going to get right into it with this I Have Decided series. If you're following along, you should have had a set of talk notes. There's notes in there. You can fill in blanks, help you kind of keep up or whatever. We'll have it on the screens too. Starting off with this verse in Philippians, we'll jump right in. Out of Philippians 3, the context of this, though, I want to tell you is that the Apostle Paul, he wrote it, but you got to understand that he wrote it as he was sitting in a prison cell. Not only sitting in a prison cell, he was in a prison cell in Rome, and he was awaiting his own execution. So I always think that if you just knew the context of what the writer was kind of going through or thinking, it adds a little bit more weight and substance to their words. I think it's incredible what he chose to say here. Starting in verse 13, he says, "Brothers, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it." So in other words, what he's saying, he says, there's still some stuff in this life I want to do. I've got some plans. I know that I still have breath left in my body, so I know that God's not done with me yet. There's stuff I have not achieved the prize yet. I love these words right here. He says, "But one thing I do." He says, "Forgetting what is behind." And I always thought that if there was somebody that had something to forget, it would have to be the Apostle Paul. I mean, this guy, not too long before this, was murdering the first Christians. He was blaspheming the name of Christ. He needed to forget some past, and some of us have some past that we need to forget. He says, "Forgetting what is behind and straining." I love that word, straining. He says, it's going to be difficult. I don't care what it costs me, what type of physical exertion or mental or emotional or relational or whatever it's going to take. I understand I want to be strained, so I'm forgetting what's behind and straining toward what is ahead. He says, "Then I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus." I love it. He says, I'm going to forget everything that's happened. If he's writing this today, he would be like, 2015's over with. Forgetting all of it, putting it to bed. I'm going to press on what God has for me in 2016. And so for today, in the next 3 weeks, I'm going to talk to you about the 4 most important decisions of your life. The beginning of a new year, a lot of people make goals, resolutions, whatever you call it. Some people don't. If you're not a goal setter, let me promise you one thing. If you don't set goals for your life, I promise you this, you will hit them every single time. That's just the truth. There's so many people just don't set goals, and then they wonder why they're just wandering through life. It's because they're hitting every one of those, you know. It's like, la, 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 la. And I don't know if it's just because you're discouraged or you're lazy. I don't know, but you need, for whatever goals, and a lot of people set a ton of goals. I know the gyms are packed right now with a bunch of fakers. You know what I'm saying? Like, not me. I'm ripped already, you know. Got a keg instead of a six-pack and all that kind of stuff. I understand that people have goals no matter what they are. I don't know what some people's goals are. I heard Pastor Tim talking on the news a while ago. He's talking about small groups, which are getting ready to kick off here at the end of the month. But he's like, y'all can gather around. Some of you like to run. I'm like, he's sitting right next to me. I go, who likes to run, man? No. Unless you're chasing me and you have a gun and I don't, I ain't running anywhere. Anyways, it's great. It's a good plug for all you runners. If we have runners here, God bless you. But I think it's incredible the goals that some people set. And so what I'm going to talk to you about is the 4 most important decisions that you could ever make in your life. And these should be included in whatever goals that you have set. So it doesn't matter. I just want to encourage you. Whatever happened yesterday, whatever didn't happen yesterday or in your past that should have happened, whatever disappointments or failures or mistakes that you made, I love the new year. Or maybe some of you have got goals this year that were just goals last year that you never got around to. I just want to encourage you. We serve a God of a second chance. That's just it. Like, we serve the God of the second chance. if you're still got breath in your body and you still got desire in your heart and you got life in your bones, He understands you. He made you. He created you. He knows how special we are. You know what I'm saying? Some of us, it just takes a while. It takes a while for us to get plugged in, but we've discouraged ourselves so much because we've missed the goals that either we've set or the expectations maybe somebody else had for us for so long, and it's just life's happened, and we just get discouraged, and we think that maybe our best days are behind us. And I don't believe that for a second. We serve a God of second chances. If Jesus was our golfing partner, I don't know if anybody plays golf, but if Jesus was our golfing partner and we keep shanking it into the water, he'd be like, I'm not looking, drops another ball, says, brother, I think you need a mulligan. You can hit that again. That's what we do in this life. God just keeps giving us chance after chance after chance. I think it's incredible. Here's what I want to say to, there's some people that you've just given up on your dreams. You've given up on your goals. I just want to declare that 2016 is going to be the best year ever in your life. See, the issue is that here's the problem that I have with this job or position or whatever, is I need to convince you of that. And you're so jaded by this life. You're so skeptical, aren't you? Skeptical of church. Some of you are at church for the first time in a long time. Just checking this thing out. One of your New Year's resolutions, go to church somewhere. You're checking it out. You're just skeptical. Life's happened to you. Too many disappointments. But I believe with all my heart that 2016 can be the best year of your life. I'm believing it and declaring it over me and my wife's life, over the church's life, over your life. I just believe it with all my heart. Isaiah 43, 18 and 19 says, forget the former things. Don't dwell on the past. That's just good preaching right there. Straight out of the Bible, isn't it? Don't dwell on the past. God says, see, I'm doing a new thing. Look at your neighbor and tell him, God's doing a new thing. He says, the issue with God, he's always doing a new thing. He says, I make all things new. He says, now it springs up. You want to know when it's available to you, when it's happening? Now's the time. Now's the time. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? In other words, do you not see it? Why would God say that? Because most people can't see it. Most people can have Jesus sitting right in front of them, the opportunities to grab a hold of their destiny and their calling right in front of them and never see it. He says, I'm making a way in the desert and streams in the wasteland. Most people just never see it. Just go through life and where's God? Maybe he was there the whole time. So we're doing this series about decisions, and so I've been, with some time off or whatever, I've been thinking about some of the decisions I've made. And I've made some interesting ones, I'll tell you that. But I've been thinking about some good decisions that I made. I've made several good decisions in my life, and one of the best decisions that I believe that I ever made. And through all the ups and downs and the heartaches and the mountaintops and the peaks and the valleys and all this kind of stuff, one of the best decisions I ever made was deciding to plant this church. It's on my heart all the time. I go to sleep a lot of nights thinking about this church and you guys. And I wake up with you guys on my heart. And so it's more than just what I do. It's who I am. And I love it. I know it's an honor for me and my family to be able to serve in this capacity. And, I just think about all the families. I just think about all the people. Good and bad, man. We've had some great times. We've had some not so great times, but that's what family does, And, man, it's just an honor. As I look back, I think, man, look at all the generations that are forever changed because of a decision. So I think I made a good decision there. I've made some bad decisions, too. I've made some wild decisions. Man, listen, I'll tell you this much. I don't like to brag on stupidity, but, man, one time, I was getting ready to ask my wife to marry me. And so here's not a way to start the relationship. Don't finance the ring, gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? You going into debt for that. It's like, you had to pay on that stupid thing. Because I just got in that trap of like, oh man, I got this thing called credit and just, oh my gosh. And so you end up paying way more, than, it's just stupid. I just remember we got in a ton of debt when we were first married. And it took us years and years and years to claw and to fight and dig our way out of that. And so I made some stupid decisions. But today I want to direct you towards the greatest decision that you can ever make. I want to ask you this question. What one thing, if changed, would make the biggest difference in my life? What one thing, if you changed it in your life, would make the biggest difference in your life? So we have some blanks in there. I just got some areas that maybe help you get the juices flowing or whatever, get the brain, get the hamster wheel going inside your head, maybe. The first one's this, my habits. My habits. What habits do you have that if changed, would make a huge difference in your life? I think about habits. I don't know. I think of all the bad habits, I mean, all habits can become bad, even if it seems like they're good for a little bit, I think about maybe like tobacco. Maybe for some of you it's alcohol. I'm not speaking out against any of these things, but a lot of guys is like, man, don't talk to me about alcohol or whatever. It's like, I don't have to. Everybody else in your life is, Maybe you just can't kick that porn addiction. Maybe you just got a habit of that. Maybe it's seemingly nicer than all those things. Maybe it's something like social media. Maybe you're just addicted to, like, you find yourself waking up in the morning, you can't even go get a cup of coffee or take a leak without checking Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or, good Lord, host of them. Snapchat, stupidity.com, whatever it is, It's just, you go to restaurants and you go out in the community and stuff, and families don't even seem like they're engaged with each other anymore. Everybody's just on their phones. I walk out here in the lobby, and it's like, I'm like, the lobby is like the living room, man. Like, we're supposed to be hanging out. And a lot of people are just, I'm just texting. Hold on, let me send this text or whatever. It's just crazy. Maybe what habits? What habit, if you could let go of and lay down in your life and focus on God, I believe if you could find one of those, that 2016 could be the greatest year of your life. The second one's this, my relationships. My relationships. Some of you have some relationships that are just dragging you down. Man, just dragging you down. And it's killing you. Can I just tell you this? 2016 is the year to go all one direction on them. And just declare that nobody's going to drag you down, baby. And you're going to cut that relationship off. And just, you know what? You know relationships I'm talking about. You hang out with them for a little bit, and it feels like you've been on a date with a vampire that just drained you. It's just like the life's out of me. It doesn't even have to be a date. It can just be a phone call from somebody. Some of you just need to declare, hey, I'm done with you. It ain't you, it's me. No, actually it's you. I'm leaving you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's not cutting off a relationship. Maybe it's restoring a relationship. Maybe there's a relationship in your life that needs to be restored. Maybe you haven't spoke to your father in years. Or child. Or maybe it's your spouse. Maybe 2016 needs to be the year that you start working on things in your marriage. Because the truth is, life can happen. And for years, maybe even decades, you've just grown apart. Year after year after year. You never meant to. You just woke up and you're apart. Well, do something about it. 2016 could be the year that you work on that. And just declare and say, I might not get it all back at once, but I'm just going to start chipping away at it. It took 8 years to get here. It might take me 12 to get it back, but I'm just determined to get it back. Listen, no matter what it is, I'll speak on the relationships part of it. Small groups are about relationships too. Get into a small group, no matter what issue you're going through, no matter what thing you need to lay down, get to a small group coming up that supports that or it will help lift you up. Because here's what you'll find if you're struggling with life, whether it's financially, and listen, some of you are just drowning financially. Look, we offer support for that. We offer financial small groups for that. Some of it's relationally. There's relational Small groups for that. Some of us just bondage, freedom, and junk. We offer small groups for that. I just encourage you, whatever it is, get plugged into one. Because the truth is that every single one of us are jacked up. We're all messed up. Oh, see, we got different symptoms and stuff. Some of us got different things wrong with it. But listen, we're all in the same hospital. We are, because here's what you'll find in a small group. You get plugged in a small group, and you get scared. Like the first couple of weeks, it'll just kind of be bland, whatever. You'd be like, I don't really like these people. And you come back, and you'd be like, hey, before we get started today, I just got to throw this out there. And you'll say, you just do a little thought vomit. This is what I'm going through. And you know what that's going to do to the group? It's going to free everybody up. You know what? There's going to be other people in the group going, hey, guess what, bud? Me too. Me too. You're going to find some freedom in this stuff. My relationships. Third is my debts. My debts. Some of you need to declare that today. 2016, you're putting your foot down and you're going to start clawing your way out of it. No matter how long it takes, start knocking it out. Next one, my health. Whew, Lord. My health. Hey, can I just be real for a second? Some of us need to get in better stinking shape. Some of us are eating our way to an early grave. You know what I'm saying? Some of us need to stop putting off the gym. And some of us need to go ahead and make that appointment with the doctor and actually go this time. Scared me for years. I didn't like what the doctor had to say either. He looked at me and was like, bro, you got issues. I was like, I know, don't tell my wife. But look, you can't put it off. Maybe that's it for you this year. Last one's this, my dreams. My dreams. Man, you got dreams. Or you used to. Maybe you got dreams and you never took any steps toward it, and it's always been just back there on a shelf somewhere. I don't know what the dreams are. Maybe it's a business, and maybe it's that business you never started. Maybe it's that song you never wrote. Maybe it's that book you never started on. Maybe it's that mission trip you never took. Whatever it is, 2016 has the potential to be the best year of your life. And listen, the church wants to come around you and support you and cheer you on. I love it's just what Paul said. He says, man, I press on. I'm going to forget the stuff that's behind me. I need to forget about it. I'm just going to press on. I'm going to strain towards it. Listen, I consider it not only is it my job, but I consider it my pure joy, and I think it's the church's job as well to help you realize your potential and dreams. Whatever discouragements or failures that you faced, this is the year of the breakthrough. This could be the year of your breakthrough. You just got to believe it, and you've got to go after it, and you've got to get encouraged. So here's what I want to say about everything. It was like that was kind of my little Happy New Year, rah-rah speech, go after your dreams and your goals and stuff like that, but here I need to tell you something important. If you want to be successful in any part of your life, you better not leave God out of it. So I can get you to chase your dreams, I can get you to give up your habits, and I can cheer you on for all that kind of stuff. But if you leave out God, you're going to find yourself empty, because the truth is that you're a spiritual being. And if you've ever accomplished something or failed at something or just existed in life in any stage or area, no matter what the accomplishments are, you just find yourself, didn't matter what you did, didn't matter how great a grade you made or how much you got the promotions or how big you built your empire and business and all this kind of stuff, you still kind of felt wanting more. It's because you're empty on the side. It's because you're a spiritual being. There's always something more. Here's what you've discovered in that, though. You discovered this important truth, that your efforts alone are never enough. It doesn't matter how hard you try, how fast you run, how high you jump. Your efforts are never enough on their own. And what you have on is spiritual blinders, and you really need those taken off. Because whenever you have the spiritual blinders removed from your life, you'll have these aha moments where you're going, whoa, check this out. I was doing it all wrong, for the wrong reasons, for the wrong things. Now it all makes sense. But until then, you just don't get it. So I always thought that, like, we read these fascinating stories of great men and women of God in the Bible, and I always thought, man, wouldn't it be cool to have a conversation with them? But what if you could only ask them one question? I think the question I would ask them would be, what was the most important thing to you? You know, I think of a guy like King David. What one thing mattered the most to you? And he actually tells us what it is in Psalm 27:4. David says this. He says, one thing I ask of the Lord, this is what I seek. Out of everything, he's king. He was king. It's good to be king. He had it all. He says that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord and to seek him in his temple. He says, man, I just want to be close to Jesus. See, David knew something that a lot of us haven't caught on to yet. The closer I get to Jesus, the more empowered I am to do all the things that I have in my heart to do. The closer you get to Jesus, the more empowered you'll be to start checking them off your list. It's crazy. So what's the one thing for me that, honestly, and I'm not trying to sound all preachy and pastory or whatever, but the one thing for me this year, and it's been different things, different years. Honestly, this year it's just, man, listen, it's not that I want to. It's not that I desire to. It's that it's beyond that. I have to. I feel like my life and future depends on it. I have to get closer to God. I've got to. I've just made up my mind. This is the year. I'm just going. I want more of you, God. I can't. Everybody says, I want to go deeper with God. Whatever. I just want to get closer to him. You go, I'll drown in that pool. No, I just want to get closer to him. And I want to get in any pool with Jesus. You know what I'm talking about? I just want to sit at his feet. Let's keep the water out of this. I want to get closer to God. I want to know. Because here's what I realized is like, man, the years are going by faster. They're just, man, what happened to 2015? Holy smokes. They're just going by faster. It aches me, it pains me to think that it's all over soon. And I don't want to get to the end of my life and just have these regrets of like, man, God, out of everybody, you chose me. And man, I sucked at that, didn't I, God? I was horrible at that. You had so much more in front of me, and all I had to do is get closer to you, and I just chose not to. Listen, here's what if you'll decide today to make 2016 the best year of your life spiritually, I'll promise you this, it'll be the best year of your life, period. But you got to make that decision. So I think it'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Like, let's just see. Aren't we supposed to spur each other on? Let's just see how close we can get to Jesus. So there's this story in the Bible, and I preached on it a month or so ago, and most of you know it. Maybe you don't, but there's three main characters. You had Jesus, and you had two sisters, Mary and Martha. Remember that? And it was, Martha gets a bad rap or whatever, but I can't relate to Martha or whatever. But Martha opens up her home. She's the one that initiates this whole thing. If it wasn't for Martha opening up her home, she invites Jesus over for lunch, you know what I'm saying? Then Mary wouldn't have Mary was the one that sat at the feet of Jesus and was like, oh, yeah, I love you. And Martha's in the kitchen just getting ready, preparations and all this kind of stuff. And Martha comes and freaks out on Jesus like, hey, Jesus, I'm in here cooking you some sticky buns, you know what I'm saying? And they're getting ready to burn. I could use some help in the kitchen. Why don't you tell my lazy sister to get up off her rear end and come in the kitchen and help me? And Jesus goes, Martha, Martha, Martha. So you're all worried and you're all flustered with the preparations and stuff. And then Jesus says, only one thing is needed. Mary, she found that one thing. It won't be taken from her. Remember that story? Yeah. I thought about that story for a while. Martha's issue is she just got distracted. And I know I can speak on this very plainly from my own life. Sometimes I get distracted with some good things that, especially, like sometimes we can be distracted preparing the way for Jesus. Could it be, I'll just say this, could it be that Jesus has been in your house all along? Been in the living room having conversation and you're just busy in the kitchen? Here's what I believe. I believe with all my heart that you were brought here for this moment. I believe you have some opportunities in front of you. And I understand that you have goals and dreams and all that stuff that you want to reach, but could it be that you have Jesus right in front of you and you're too busy in the kitchen? I don't know. Because I just know if you don't get close to Jesus, you have all the goals in the world that you want. You might accomplish them. Even if you accomplish them, they won't mean as much. It won't matter as much if you don't have Jesus. The first thing, I just want to leave you with a couple things here. The first thing, we're going to make these statements of I have decided. The first one is this: I have decided to make the most of the new year. I decided to make the most of the new year. Another word we could use in there for New Year is the word opportunity. Opportunity. See, Martha had an opportunity. Jesus was in her house and she was in the kitchen. Listen, this is some of you, though, you have an opportunity right in front of you. I just encourage you not to squander it. Ephesians 5:15-16 says this way: be very careful. I love it when the Bible warns us because there's something to be warned of, you know? It's like, why would the Bible tell us to be very careful? Because the opposites, being careless, is our default state. It'll pass you by. It says, be very careful then how you live. Not as unwise, but as wise. Make the most of every opportunity. See, that word opportunity in the Greek, it literally means time. Not so much time, it means a window of time. So the opportunity that's in front of you, it's literally like a window of time, almost like your life. But you'll have these little moments of opportunity. And it's a window that'll open and it'll shut. And it'll shut quicker than you think it will. Some of us just taking advantage and just thought, man, that moment. You ever just miss out on an opportunity? Said, man, if I'd only known then what I know now, I'd have done life differently. Listen, I believe that with a new year, you have a new start. I believe your slate's clean. We can make it clean. Listen, if you don't have a church home where Ignite is your church home, or if you want to make Ignite your church home, I think you have not only you have a brand new year, you have a great church. I think you got a great church. I think you got a great opportunity in front of you. Don't waste it. Don't squander it. Take advantage of it. Let's make a deal. Here's what I need you to give me. You want to have the best year ever? Give me 1 year of your life. Start today. Give me 1 year of your life. Listen, just buy in. Do what we do here. Buy in. Get plugged into the growth track. Become a member. Start growing. Get involved in small groups. Get plugged into the dream team. Start serving. Start getting involved in our community outreaches. Go on a mission trip. Basically, if we do it, jump in and do everything that we do all the first Wednesdays. Do everything that we do for a year. And let me make you this promise. If you just didn't have one of the best years of your life, if you're not significantly better off than you are right now when you started, listen, I don't even care if you're a dude. I'll hold your hand. And me and you, we're going to go find a good church. We'll go find a church that works. I'll leave this rat hole. You know what I'm saying? I'll walk out. You know why that won't happen? You know the only thing keeping you from your best year ever is your decision. That's it. The only thing keeping you from your greatest destiny ever is your decision. You have an opportunity in front of you. Just don't waste it. You're only one step away from realizing the best year of your life if you'll understand your opportunity. Second thing is this: I've decided to get rid of every distraction. Decided to get rid of every distraction, every one of them. Satan's no dummy. He's not going to distract you with bad things. Some of you are just busy with good things in your life. You know the good things will keep you from the best thing. Just will. You want to be great, you got to say no to good. Hebrews 12:1 says, therefore, since we're surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Let us run with perseverance. Throw off everything that hinders. We're doing this 21 days of prayer and fasting. It doesn't, half of that most people get. You don't have to go to church. You understand what prayer is. A lot of unchurched people, especially a lot of church people, don't even understand what fasting is. They're thinking like some sort of self-torture, It's like, oh my gosh. There's basically 3 different kinds of fasting that I'll just focus on right now. Fasting is just this. It's basically just getting rid of a distraction. It is. That's all it is. You just get rid of a distraction and you replace that time with God. And so there's actually 3 different types of fast that most of us kind of either focus on around here. And there's a full fast. That means it's really nothing but water. And listen, if you're thinking about attempting that for the 21 days, but please do it under a doctor's care, all right? I mean, it's no joke. You need to really prepare for that. You need to really train your body for that, and I don't think that you have. And so I don't know. I think a full fast is good, and not just maybe not for the whole 21 days. And then there's a partial fast, and that's where you give up, maybe a few meals. Some of you all eat like 23 times a day. You probably give up 22 of them, and it's just. Maybe some of you mix and match. I know that's what I end up doing, is doing full fast for several days and then doing like a partial fast and mix it up. And then you have what's called Daniel fast. And Daniel fast, I've never really done it just because a lot of people, they just try to break all the rules and see what they can and can't do. And I always thought that kind of defeats the purpose of a fast. But it's basically no meats, no sweets, no breads. And anyways, but there's those different kinds. But I just encourage you guys to get involved with 21 days of prayer and fasting. People say, why 21 days? Because it takes 21 days to develop a habit in your life. I can't think of a better habit to develop than drawing yourself closer to God. There is no better habit that you will ever create in your lifetime or develop than drawing yourself closer to God. I kind of wrote it this way. I've decided that I'm not going to let anything that will ultimately mean nothing keep me from experiencing what means everything. I've decided I'm not going to let anything, no matter how good it is, that'll ultimately end up meaning nothing in the end, keep me from experiencing what means everything. The third and final one, I get you out of here, is I've decided to prioritize the presence of Christ in my life. I have decided to prioritize the presence of Christ in my life. So it kind of looks like this. Man, aren't we good-looking Sunday Christians? Whew, son. Everybody comes in smiling. I say, how are you doing? I'm doing good. How are you, Pastor? I'm all right. Then you go out, and I'm not so worried about your Sundays as I am your Monday through Saturday. It's kind of like God, it's not that he's not in your life. It's just he's not the center of your life. He's not the top of your list. He's not at the top of your priorities. See, God needs to be at the center of your life, and everything that you do needs to flow out of that. People ask me sometimes, what does salvation mean? Salvation is prioritizing Christ in his rightful spot. That's number one. Some of you just need to find salvation. You need to put God right back where he belongs. Maybe some of you never made that decision before. Maybe today's going to be the first time you ever make it. Maybe some of you are going to make that decision for the 514th time. But if it takes that long, remember he's got a second chance. He's just dropping balls because you keep hitting it in the water. He's cheering you on. Come on, champ. This is the time. This is the time. This is the time where you really mean it. This is the time where you really focus. This is the time where you say, I have decided. I can't decide for you. You got to decide this one for yourself. I love if you back up in Philippians, what Paul says. He says, I once thought these things. He says, I once thought the things. What are the things in your life? What's the stuff in your life? He said, I once thought all these things were valuable, but now I consider them worthless. Why? Because of what Christ has done. Yes, everything else is worthless when compared to the infinite value of knowing Christ Jesus my Lord. It's for his sake I've discarded everything else. I count it all as garbage, as rubbish, scubula, so that I could gain Christ. And what powerful words. Like, man, nothing else really matters, does it? I'll promise you this. You'll never regret getting close to Jesus. Ever. You'll regret not doing it. As you get close to Jesus, the closer you get to Jesus, the better year you're going to have. I just promise. Let me pray for you before we get out of here. Will you bow your heads?